Hello and welcome to another episode of Cakefight Presents The Making of Kaleidoscope. I'm writer, director, producer Paige Feldman, and this week, as every week, I'm taking you inside my process of making my debut feature film. We're going from idea to premiere in real time, and this week, we're gonna keep going in real time like we did last week. If you didn't see that video last week, it's up here, and it is me screen sharing as I live outline the script for Kaleidoscope. I wrote out all of my themes, character wants and needs, and then finished by creating a basic plot statement and then breaking down that plot statement into the 3-act structure. This week, we're continuing on because just that 3-act structure is not enough for me. I need a super detailed outline so I can easily draft this script in 2 weeks. And that is the goal, that's what we're shooting for. So I need to take that 3-act structure and break it down into sequences and then scenes. And I will screen share all of that, but before we get into that, I am going to introduce you to some of my friends. Yes, these are a lot of screenwriting books. I've read them, and these aren't the only ones I've read, they're just the only ones that I own / can find before making this video. So I'm gonna take you into these guides and tell you how they're helping me outline, how they've helped me find my process, because outlining is a skill and it's something you need to learn, and it really helps to have a great guide or 2 or 7 here. So let's roll those credits, and when we get back, we'll dive right in. Hey y'all, we are back. While those credits were rolling, I grabbed my water bottle and filled it up because if you were watching last week, you saw that I definitely like to have a snack and a drink while I work. I don't have a snack right now because I just had breakfast. It's like 11:11, make a wish. And anyway, I have this huge stack of books here, and they've all helped me on my screenwriting journey. I used to absolutely hate the idea of an outline or a structure. I thought it was going to damage my creativity somehow or make my scripts or my films or like short stories I wrote cookie cutter. But what I found, and this is thanks to my parents, so thanks Mom and Dad, is that I actually am able to create better within the confines of some sort of structure or sandbox. And the reason I found this out actually has nothing to do with screenwriting and everything to do with writing reports for school. So in 6th grade, we had our social studies curriculum was based on Latin American history. Grew up in St. Louis, and I'm really grateful actually that the curriculum shifted to other cultures and countries. It was really cool, and as part of a semester project, we all had to write reports on various countries in Central and South America. I chose Ecuador because its capital, Quito, is on the equator, and they're also the country that owns the Galapagos Islands. Really freaking cool. I had all this research about Ecuador, and I had to write this paper, and 2 nights before the paper was due, my parents said, "Hey, Paige, how's it going?" And I was just swimming in information, and I hadn't written a word. And I said I didn't know where to start or how to do it. And so my dad actually grabbed my assignment sheet and said, "Here, look, you have a guideline here," because the assignment sheet said, "Answer these 5 questions in your paper." And they were all sort of laid out in a logical manner. So, and to that I said, but isn't it cheating if I just follow the instructions like that? Like, isn't it going to be boring? And my dad and my mom is an author, so she's like the writer in the family. My dad is a lawyer. I have a law degree and I'm a writer, and both my parents. He said, no, because all of the information, that's yours. The way you present it is yours. This is just a formula to help you focus and make sure you can give all of the information that people are looking to get. And that's what an outline is. An outline is not going to make your script formulaic. It's not going to make it not yours. It's not going to force you to put things into your script that you wouldn't normally put into it. That usually happens during development. Because of that experience and, you know, basically pulling an all-nighter in 6th grade, I have learned that outlines are great, and outlines actually help you finish what you start. Like I said, I have a lot of books. These have all helped me in some way, but the two that I reference the most are the Screenwriter's Workbook by Sid Field, and now Writing the Romantic Comedy by Billy Murnett. So Writing the Romantic Comedy breaks up the romantic comedy into 7 different parts, and it's descriptive rather than prescriptive, which means that it takes romantic comedies as case studies and identifies certain things within them that are thematically similar, or similar plot points happen in similar areas. And so I use this after I have an idea of an outline of a story to sort of double check my work to see, is there if there's anything that I feel like I'm missing, is it one of the things that is listed in this book as the plot points to kind of to help hone and refine my story. The Screenwriter's Workbook is more of a prescriptive book. It's influenced my writing process, my outlining process a ton, because this is the book that helped me actually finish a screenplay for the first time. I followed every chapter step by step. Every chapter talks about writing, talks about parts of the screenplay, and then at the end of each chapter there's one exercise. And as somebody who was feeling overwhelmed by the whole process, doing one exercise was super doable. The first exercise at the end of chapter 1 is take your idea and write it out in 3 sentences according to action and character. And what do you think I did last week? It has a whole paradigm here. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, midpoint, all this. It teaches you about these structures, and then it gives you exercises to make it happen. How to write the first 10 pages, how to structure, like, look, I've used it so much, it's falling apart. This book is helpful in that it broke things down into steps, it taught me structure in general, and it made me finish a script, because by the end, middle of the book, all of a sudden you're writing the first 10 pages. And in the little box here, it says the longest journey begins with the first step. And so it's nice and encouraging. It is Sid Field, so it is this classic screenplay structure that a lot of people make fun of gurus for, but you know what? This book helped me a ton in just finishing, and that is the first step, is to just finish. Now there's a bunch of other books here. Writing the Second Act, 500 Ways to Beat the Hollywood Script Reader, The Tools of Screenwriting. They're all very great and helpful, but at a certain point, I became so enamored with structure that I stopped writing and just continued reading about structure as if that was going to write a screenplay for me. So you can go overboard. I have gone overboard, and I've gotten rid of several of my books. Like, I don't have Save the Cat anymore, donated to like a Hollywood Goodwill, so I'm sure they're in a great home right now. The other book though that I really love, that I recommend to people who are more experienced writers and are looking for something extra, is Story by Robert McKee. This is obviously kind of it's a little bit of a joke in the industry now, because Adaptation, the fantastic Charlie Kaufman movie with Nicolas Cage, is all about, in part, a twin who went and took a Robert McKee story seminar and sold a screenplay, wrote a great screenplay. But this book is actually great. It talks about scenes in terms of conflict. And that's something that, oh, there goes my tripod. That's something that these 2 books don't really get into. They're more about the like finding plot. They're less about the nitty-gritty of what happens in a scene. So I would recommend, if you're looking for something to level up your game, if you're looking for something to learn about structure a little bit more, to check out Story. It could help you, especially, God, I keep bumping my tripod. So for me, these books are all great resources to help me get past the hurdle of what to do with all of the information that I have gathered and all of the ideas that I have for a movie. It's an organizational method is what these books help me do. It's not about creating the paradigmatic screenplay. It's a form of organization. And that is why I love outlines, because I can make sure that way everything I want in a story will be in that story, and I can figure it out without writing a 210-page first draft and then cutting it down again, which I've actually done before, even though I had an outline. And then to fix that problem, I re-outlined the entire story and cut 90 pages. And I don't miss any of it. That's a story for another day. So now that I have told you about my philosophy of outlining, it is time to get into the actual outlining. So I'm going to turn screen share on again, just like I promised. Boop. All right, we are recording. So here is Scrivener, just as we left it last week. I have the Act 1, 2A, 2B, Act 3 all written out. And now underneath these little nested folders here, we have Sequence 1, Sequence 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So what is all the sequence stuff? Listen, I'm not a guru. I have like 7 books. There's 6 books. I don't know why I keep saying 7. There's 6 books here. And I am using all of these to inform my outlining process, but all of it, every single time I do it differently, depending on the project, depending on my mood. And usually what I would do in place of the Sequence 1 and Sequence 2 would be to write out beginning, what I want to happen by page 10, what I want to happen at plot point 1, and then the midpoint. And like, you know, I use a lot of the Sid Field Screenwriter's Workbook shorthand, because that is how I taught myself to write screenplays. But for Kaleidoscope, I have ideas of types of scenes I want to happen. There are all of the various time loop parties that we're going into. There is the beginning where Lee and Jonah get sucked into the time loop. And so instead of starting with breaking down individual events, I want to break down into these types of sequences. I'm going to see how this works. And this whole outlining structure is actually based on something that someone in one of my writing groups does. John Drebecki, who's a great composer. He does the music for How to Fall in Love the Hard Way. And he is also a fantastic writer. And he is a student of structure as well, and sends us videos and things about structure. And one of the, I can't remember if it's a video or if he just read something and then explained it to us, but basically the way that he's starting to outline is to start small with a storyline, like a basic plot log line, and then writing descriptions, like I've done, for Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and then breaking those descriptions down in more individual parts in sort of a funnel structure. And that resonated with me for how I'm doing Kaleidoscope. And the idea of sequences feels right. My trusty headphones right here. I'm gonna put them on. It's not gonna be rain sounds today. I have a Spotify playlist of ambient electronic chill instrumentals that I enjoy. I'm gonna get writing. You can watch me. Like I said, I'm holding nothing back, so.
I'm not a knight in shining armor, and I'm sure as hell not a savior when you need me to be. gets dark. I'm not a knight in shining armor, and I'm sure as hell not a savior when you need me to be. I'm not that flare of light you see when it gets dark. I can't climb no mountains for you, my love. I can't climb no mountains or swim in cold water. No, I can't find you. I've been looking everywhere, don't know what to do. Oh, you were my everything. I've been dreaming about you every day. No, I can't find you. I've been looking everywhere, don't know what to do. Oh, you were my everything. I've been dreaming about you every day. No, I can't find you. No, I can't find you. I can't find you. No, I can't find you. I'm not a knight in shining armor, and I'm sure as hell not a savior when you need me to be. I'm not that flare of light you see when it gets dark. I can't climb no mountains for you, my love.
Sorry, fantasy football's going on right now. I have to just make sure everything's going all right with my lineup. All right, back to outline.
I've been looking everywhere, don't know what to do. Oh, you were my everything. I've been dreaming about you every day. No, I can't find you. I've been looking everywhere, don't know what to do.
I'm doing research, you just can't see on the screen share because it's only recording those Scrivener, so I'm on Google. Don't worry.
No, I can't find you. No, I can't find you. I can't find you.
Okay, so I have just outlined all of these sequences, what I'm calling them. It's not, a technical term. I'm not going to get too worried about doing it wrong if I'm, I have 3 sequences in Act 1 now, and 4 in 2A, only 2 in 2B, and 3 in Act 3. So I'm not worried that I'm deviating from Mr. Field here. This is just the way that I see all of these various events in these acts breaking down. So now I have these sequences, these sequences, these sequences, and these sequences. And the only reason that I haven't actually renumbered them into like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is because I didn't want to have to renumber the entire thing while I'm outlining. Paying attention to fantasy football aside, the only thing I want to do when I'm outlining is actually outline. So here's the deal. We could stop right here. We have this outline with all of the acts, have Act 1, 2A, 2B, and 3 broken down into various sequences. This could be enough to get you started on your script if you're following along, if you want to do what I'm doing. However, for me, this isn't enough. There's something that I learned in school, in college, actually, and that is if you can't explain a concept in your own words, you probably don't know it well enough, period. And for me, the aftermath They meet again, hike, get sucked into the time loop. There's enough to go off there that I could write a scene. But if I'm drafting this, and I am drafting this in 2 weeks, I don't want to have to think about how are they meeting again? What does this hike look like? Etc. I don't want to have to think about what does time loop round 1 look like while I'm drafting. When I'm drafting, the only thing I want to be concentrating on is turning these sequences into dialogue and action. And in order to do that, I need to break them down even further into their own little scene cards. So that is the next step. And like I've been saying, this is all about how I'm doing it, not how to do it. I'm not prescriptive. I'm just descriptive. If you feel like, if you're getting to this point and you feel like, oh, this is a good enough outline, it might be. It might be good enough for you. For me, I want to have everything figured out so my brain is just free to kind of let the characters do their thing while I write. Now, I'm gonna put the headphones back on and break these sequences down a little bit further into individual scenes, I guess. We're gonna break them down even further and see what we get, because like I said, I haven't done this yet, so just going along with it. I might check my fantasy football scores in the middle of doing it though, but don't judge me, okay? See you when I'm done. It's not looking good.
I'm looking up from my window. Sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Yeah. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing. You don't know how much I want you. Just looking at you makes my whole world spin. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food.
Guys, my battery is dying. I'm gonna change it and then BRB. Go back.
Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I went by your house, what a big mistake. But for a while I thought that I wouldn't break. hours of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life.
All right, fam, I am halfway through this outline, and I think I'm gonna pause it right here because, number one, as much as I'm being open about this whole process, I kind of want to keep some things secret. I'm going to finish making all of these cards for this outline, and then probably expanding some of these as well, because there's some details I just haven't filled out yet, like Lee and Devin get into a fight about blank. Filler scene about Lee and photography. Like, I need to know what the purpose of this is. So what's next here? I am going to finish writing all of the scenes out for this outline and then put it away for a couple days, do a little pass on it myself, and then send it out to some trusted readers, because next up is outline critique and revision. And I am going to hopefully be able to record live some of these critiques and revisions. If you have any questions about outlining, also drop down in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. It really helps me know what kind of content people like, and also helps this video get discovered and the whole process of Kaleidoscope get seen by more people. And just in case you didn't notice, because this is super exciting to me, I can share the meaning of the title a little bit for Kaleidoscope. They see a massive kaleidoscope of butterflies, and that is one of the meanings of the title. A kaleidoscope is a group of butterflies, and it's also a toy that refracts light in ways where you see patterns differently than you expect depending on the way you turn it. And with that, I'm gonna bid you adieu. Adieu. I speak French, I should know better than say adieu. I'll bid you adieu for this week. And next week, come back, as I'll be sharing another step in my process. What that step is, not quite sure yet, but I'll be here and I hope to see you back. Thanks so much all for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.